Yet another video of me highlighting rampant, insane, public, in-your-face Republican hypocrisy. With the protests in LA and the overreaction of police, the violence being administered by police, LAPD, LA County Sheriffs, ICE, Homeland Security. We haven't seen much violence from National Guard, but just wait. It is time to talk about the hypocrisy of the Republican Party, who, when Donald Trump federalized the National Guard against the wishes of the governor of California, they cheered it on. Yet, in 2024, when she is now the seated, confirmed by the Senate, Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, in 2024 in February, she derided Joe Biden and his federalizing the National Guard, or the potential of him, because he didn't do it. She tweeted this: if Joe Biden federalizes the National Guard, that would be a direct attack on states' rights. But apparently this isn't, right? Or is it just because now you're in power and playing a role in the federalizing of the National Guard, the actual federalizing of the National Guard? The first time the National Guard has been federalized against the wishes of a governor since the 1960s when Lyndon Baines Johnson did it. But he sent the National Guard in to protect protesters, civil rights protesters. Donald Trump is doing it to quell them, to shut them up, to stop them from exercising their First Amendment right under the Constitution to which he swore an oath and is now violating that oath. The tweet continues: over the last several years, we've seen Democrats try to take away our freedoms of religion, assembly, and speech. We can't let them take away our right to defend ourselves too. South Dakota defends the Constitution. Here's FBI director, current FBI director Kash Patel with this hypocritical gem on Twitter. Hit a cop, you're going to jail. Doesn't matter where you came from, how you got here, or what movement speaks to you. If the local police force won't back our men and women on the thin blue line, we at the FBI will. The same Kash Patel who was involved in the Stop the Steal movement. The same Kash Patel who's a conspiracy theorist. The same Kash Patel who makes excuses for January 6th insurrectionists, domestic terrorists, calling them hostages. That same Kash Patel had the stones to publish that tweet about backing the blue and the thin blue fucking line. Vice President of the United States, JD Vance, a man who once called the man he now serves as a supplicant, called him America's Hitler. He had this to say on Twitter: this moment calls for decisive leadership. The president will not tolerate rioting and violence. I guess apparently he won't tolerate it unless it's done in his name, at his behest, at his incitement, at his direction. Because when he dispatched an unruly mob of domestic terrorists to attack the United States Capitol, that was done outside of the bounds of law. And you know how I know? Is because they were convicted and then subsequently pardoned by him. You know the hats? Donald Trump was right about everything. One, it's stupid because nobody's right about everything. But Kamala Harris sure was right about this, was she not? Remember when the news broke about Donald Trump expressing that he wanted his generals to be like Adolf Hitler's generals, with complete and utter, unquestioning, unflinching loyalty to him, the dear leader, and not to the Constitution to which they swore an oath, not to the federal government, not to the United States, to him. And Kamala Harris was derided for this. She gave a speech. I'm going to play a little bit of it here. The articles were written in The Hill about Kamala Harris's newest lie that Trump will send the army after you. She called it. And here we are. Three months and change after he took office. But eggs were expensive. Oh, what are we going to do? I guess fascism is the only answer. It's the only choice because eggs were spendy. Luckily, they're now down 400. Now you're earning money by going to the grocery store to pick up eggs because the grocery stores are paying you to take the eggs away. 400% down, says our idiot fascist dipshit in chief. Eggs were expensive, and I don't like the black lady. That's the answer from America largely. Largely enough to ensure that Donald Trump took office again. People have a taste for the boots, I guess. Here's Kamala Harris being right. And remember the mockery that followed when she said this and gave this speech.
Yesterday, we learned that Donald Trump's former chief of staff, John Kelly, a retired four-star general, confirmed that while Donald Trump was president, he said he wanted generals like Adolf Hitler had. Donald Trump said that because he does not want a military that is loyal to the United States Constitution. He wants a military that is loyal to him. He wants a military who will be loyal to him personally, one that will obey his orders even when he tells them to break the law or abandon their oath to the Constitution of the United States. In just the past week, Donald Trump has repeatedly called his fellow Americans the enemy from within, and even said that he would use the United States military to go after American citizens. And let's be clear about who he considers to be the enemy from within. Anyone who refuses to bend a knee or dares to criticize him would qualify, in his mind, as the enemy within, like judges, like journalists, like nonpartisan election officials.
He wanted generals like Adolf Hitler had. He wanted federal police force to act in loyalty to him, at his orders, at his behest, because he doesn't have it like doesn't need to have it like he had it before, with sending an armed mob to attack the Capitol to try to reverse the results of an election he lost. Now he's got the Homeland Security Department. Now he's got ICE. Now he's got federal officials, including conspiracy theorists and liars in the FBI, who will do his bidding, who will kill United States citizens. He wants to deploy the United States Marine Corps, my Marine Corps, to quell protests, to quell citizens exercising their rights protected by the Constitution. But tell me again how Kamala Harris was hysterical. Ugh. Hypocrites, liars. As much as Donald Trump waxes about who's scum and who's not on Truth Social, come on. Look, I never want to be accused credibly of being, I'm accused all the time of it, but not credibly that I'm a hypocrite. I call out Democrats when they need to be called out. I call them to the carpet, not as much as Republicans, because they don't need to be called to the carpet as much. But there's no way to square the current Homeland Security Secretary saying if Joe Biden federalizes the National Guard, that would be a direct attack on states' rights, yet sending in the National Guard, supporting Donald Trump in this decision. You're a liar. You're a hypocrite. You don't care about the 10th Amendment, states' rights. You don't care about that. You don't care about the thin blue line, Kash Patel, when you supported the assault of federal police officers on the Capitol complex that day. JD Vance doesn't give a about the rule of law, about peaceful action, about decisive leadership, about rioting and violence. When you support the man who dispatched an insurrectionist mob against the Capitol. Just stop giving these people the benefit of the doubt. Stop believing these people. They're liars. They are here to destroy our republic. And they will not stop until it's done. Anyway, I invite you to this conversation. You can comment below. You can also call the voicemail line, 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. We are in tight, serious times. This is just the beginning. If you think LA is going to be the only city where people rise up, you're not paying attention. It's going to be happening all over the country, and they will deserve everything they get. We don't know what that will be. But the excuse of just following orders isn't going to fly. When we get to the other side of this, and hopefully we have trials to put on trial these people, just following orders isn't going to be a valid excuse for your behavior, for your violations of the Constitution. Just following the fascist orders is the same kind of excuses we heard at The Hague when the Nazi soldiers, well, I was just doing what I was told. You have an obligation to follow your oath, your solemn vow to the Constitution, especially if you're a cop, to serve and protect. What do you think? You can call, voicemail line, all that. I'll see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another.